Warning, this video contains stories. Funny stories but slightly edgy. So watch at your own risk.
You have been warned.
I was in high school and I played on the football team. It was getting hot and my long hair made me sweat. I asked my mom if she would cut the back and side short. Mom, whoa, who we got there? Doc Ravioli. Thank you so much. Yay. Mom was hesitant, but I was insistent that I needed it cut today before practice. She grabs my dad's hair trimmer and started up the back of my head. I thought it felt weird and she began to shriek. She shaved me to the skin. So here I am with a 4-inch swatch of skin. After the practice and all the teasing from the guys, my mom took me to Quick Cuts, who tried to even it up. Oh well, hair grows, so in a few weeks it was okay. I just wore my ball cap all the time. So how many of you guys out there, how many of you guys have been shaved to the skin? So anyways, I decided to go get my eyebrows waxed. And you know, there's nail salons that you can go to, and there's one that I frequented, and I said, do you wax? And she, oh yeah. And so they waxed me, and I had it done the morning. My flight was in the afternoon, so I went and got waxed in the morning because I thought then they won't look like caterpillars or anything, or they won't look like they're angry. They'll just be a nice even thing. And when she got done, it's like, oh wow, they look wonderful. So I go home, pack, I'm on the airplane, and the stewardess is kind of, and she's coming by, I kind of get the look, and I'm thinking, yeah, I know, my makeup's looking good, yeah, I'm looking, and I'm walking through the airport, and people are kind of looking, you know, you give them a quick glance, it's like, yeah, I know, my makeup's, yeah, I got it going on, and when I landed in Vegas, I had to use the ladies' room, and when I went in there, it looked like somebody took pink highlighter and went all around my eyebrows. I mean, it was so pink. My skin was inflamed. It was a reaction. There was no covering it. And it looked ridiculous. I mean, it just looked like somebody took pink highlighter and went all around my eye. And so here I am in Vegas. And then what happens is, then I get the reaction where all these little whiteheads and pimples start coming out. I was like a freak show because I was allergic to the wax. So, and there was no covering the fact that I had a million zits around, you know, after the pinkness went away, then came all these whiteheads all around from the allergic reaction. And it's like, oh, I look like a sideshow. It was like, so when you're planning a trip, don't do something that you haven't done before, okay? Don't do that because there's no covering it up. There was no way of covering up these mountains of nastiness around my eyes. Okay, so let's talk. We have another story here. I was in such a rush one morning to get ready for school. It was my senior year, and my mom had bought me this wraparound skirt. It was so pretty, thank you, Teresa, with huge bright flowers. I was excited to wear it. Everything was fine until third period. I was on the third floor, and my next class was on the first floor. You know the routine. Going down, you hug the inside of the stairwell. Going up, you're on the other side. Books in hand, I had my right hand on the rail as we quickly scurried down the stairs. When I reached the first floor, in horror, I was skirtless. Only a tank top with my underwear. Of course, I was wearing a thong. A couple of girls noticed and quickly made a ring around me, shielding me with their bodies. while one of my girlfriends ran up the stairs to look for my skirt. She found it, and I quickly wrapped it around me. Instead of a bow, I tied a knot. Fortunately, we have a no phone on policy, so no pics were taken. When I went home and told my mom, she said ladies always wear a slip underneath the dress, which I knew, but in my hurry, I neglected to put it on. Thongs. How many of you out there wear those thongs? Ladies, how many of you wear thongs? Are there? I guess you don't have to chime me. That might be embarrassing. But I mean, don't you kind of spend the whole? I mean, I spent all my life pulling stuff out, not wanting to put stuff in. I mean, how is that comfortable? You find them comfortable, but they're in your hiney. They're riding up against your, where all the action is. My sister was getting married. I was maid of honor and had to put hubby in charge of our 2 kids, my 6-year-old son and our 3-year-old daughter. I was going to be with the wedding party. I laid all the clothes, and so all he had to do was dress them. My kids looked wonderful as I glanced at them as I was walking down the aisle. The wedding was progressing beautifully when I heard some giggling in the direction of my family. My daughter was standing on the church pew. She lifted up her dress and had no underwear on. Either she had pulled them off or hubby forgot. I'm trying to motion my husband without being obvious. He's just smiling at me while our baby girl is flashing the congregation. It was a little bit before hubby noticed, and then he turned beet red. He quickly picked her up and held her for the remainder of the service. We were hours away from home, so we made a quick stop at Walmart before the reception. Well, in church, it's, I think I would be embarrassed if I had my daughter there and she was flashing the congregation. But, it's just a little kid. Just a little kid, right? But, yeah, I could see where you would be embarrassed because it's a big day and you want, but it's things like that. And as you folks, as you choose to get married, or like I'm working on a wedding right now. I'll show you what I'm making for this wedding. But I mean, it's those things that actually make the wedding. The things that at the time it's like, but it's like the little mishaps that you sit back and you just smile. After, so that had to have been cute. That had to have been cute. As a young teen, I was always a bit of a troublemaker, especially when my parents and sister weren't home. There were times I painted my walls black in a couple of hours, shaved my head, or dyed my hair. I was about 16, thanks Mum Test, thank you for following. I was about 16 years old and I decided it was time for my first bikini wax. However, I didn't go to a professional. I wanted to do it on my own. I had bought some supplies at my local CVS and hid them away in my drawers. One day, when I was completely by myself, I took the kit that was tucked away, skimmed over the instructions. It didn't go very smoothly. Quickly, it went very wrong. After one application, I realized I was stuck to the carpet. Oh, I love this. I love this. Okay. I literally had nothing on my bottom half and nothing to free me. I sat on the rug and it felt like ages. Unfortunately, my parents came home first and they saw me sitting on the carpet. It's safe to say they were displeased. My mom tried various techniques like water and baby oil. The wax was as hard as a rock, and my mother eventually handed me a pair of scissors. I wasn't entirely sure what she wanted me to do, so I cut up a huge hunk of the carpet and freed myself. Not only was there a patch on the carpet, there was also a huge one stuck on my bikini line. Once I looked down, I noticed I was bleeding from the amount of skin being removed. I went to the ER that night to make sure I didn't give myself a skin infection. And it was definitely some of the doctors' and nurses' favorite stories that night. Now, can you imagine? I know my daughter is a beautician, and she had brought some wax home, and it spilled on the linoleum, and I could not get that up. No matter what I did, I could not get that wax up. I just couldn't. I think if you were able to heat it and melt it again, can you imagine your crotch being, I think we'll call this one, I didn't name any of these, but I think we can call this one shag carpet or shag by the carpet. But can you imagine being, I mean, well, okay, so think about it. Think about it. So you're doing your crotch, but how do you know, you kind of, you want to be comfortable. You kind of want to sit down to kind of angle it. Can you imagine? Teresa, you got halfway through. I give squat over a mirror. Well, I bet she would now. But what if you stuck to the mirror? I mean, what that wax is just. Can you imagine being stuck to the carpet and the fibers of the carpet, and not being, and having your parents come home to find your crotch stuck to the carpet? I mean, I think. Yeah, you like that, Vism? Shag carpet or shag by the carpet? I mean, she had to have the carpet stuck to her. Oh my God. You know, when this one came, I laughed so hard, and then I said to Simp Dad was watching, I said, put it on pause. You got to hear this. You got to hear this one. You got to hear this one. But I mean, can you even imagine, you know, the feeling of being, what do I do? I can't, you know, unless you have your phone in hand. It's not like you can get up and call someone to help you. You're stuck to the carpet. You're not going anywhere. You know, if it was a throw rug, you could kind of get up and bring the rug with you. But I mean, you're stuck to the carpet.